Good morning. I thought, being that it's going to get hot this week, it's headed for the 90s, and that's not going to be too cool on my roses. So I found my list of all the names to my roses, and I thought it might be nice to introduce you by name and tell you a little bit about them. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod. The only thing is, it's a bit windy this morning, breezy. If it's too noisy, I'll have to do this again, but we'll try. And I thought it might be fun to I don't know if it will show up what I see out my window from this view, but I'll sort of, depending on where I'm standing, is what I see. Okay, let's head out, and I'll take my list with me, and I just push something. The trouble is, on this camera, the control buttons are right where you want to put your hands. Oh, I think it will be okay. Now, I'm going to step out of the yard to do this. Okay, and they do need deadheading, and we thought later on we'd do some of that this morning. Okay. Oh, and I see my little mock orange spirea. And that's not its true name. It's Idaho state flower, whatever it is, and it's beginning to bloom. Okay, we're going to come out here and just show you this rose. I think I'll get sort of around it. Okay, let me find its name. Oh, Blaze of Glory. And I'll just step out here. Okay, as long as I'm out here, now this is really, we're old, and you can tell, because this used to be a lot prettier. But this is Blaze of Glory, and I have seen people come up and pick it. These are just carpet roses, and they really need deadheading. Okay, and my peonies are past. Now this little rose here, and it needs deadheading really bad. It was the first one to bloom on Good Friday. I don't know its name. It was here when we got here, and it struggles every year. We've got 3 carpet roses in here. And this one, oh, it needs deadheading. It's prettier on the other side. And there is, okay, I'll go ahead and tell its name. It's Easy Does It. And I bought it before I decided that any rose I would buy would have to pass the fragrance test to really have a good fragrance. But I really sort of lucked out because it has a nice fragrance. The carpet roses are just carpet roses, and I got them just because our house was yellow, and they're yellow roses. Now the big climber, it's polka, and it just does. Okay, and then these are the Mexican primrose, which has nothing to do with a rose. Okay, and then this rose was also a rose that was here, just like that one I showed you in the front yard. So I really don't know its name, but it's a red rose, and it smells like my Mr. Lincoln. So I'm assuming that it was Mr. Lincoln. And when we got here, the rose in the front that I don't know its name, and this one were in the backyard, and in a place where I knew they wouldn't prosper. It's iffy here now because the way it's growing up. But so we moved them. There were 4 of them. When we moved the 3rd one, it died. And then I was afraid to move the last one. Then coming back into the yard, and we're hearing some wind noise now. Okay, right out here, and this rose has always lived in this container. It's one of the few that have never been moved, and it's Fragrant Hour, and it is fragrant. Then I bought my Mr. Lincoln, but I had planted it over on the other side with that other Mr. Lincoln, and then I wanted it in the yard. And it needs deadheading, but it's a beautiful rose. Okay, this is my climbing rose that I have 2 of, and its name is Zephyrin Druin. It's an English bourbon rose. It's been around since the 1800s, and it's thornless. Basically, it's thornless. It's a repeat bloomer, so it'll do it, but not near like it does in the spring. And this has always lived in its container, and it's not very old. Okay, then we come down. There's 2 little miniature roses that I don't know the names to, and this is one of them. I'm going to call it the Judy, because my son John's wife, Judy, gave it to me. And I love it. She's a sweetheart, and so it reminds me of her. Okay, then we come to, this is Sarah. And poor Sarah, we built this bed around her. She's really planted ground level, but she's been buried up about, maybe 18 inches, I don't know, over a foot. I know that. Okay, and this is the other part of Polka, the climbing rose. This is, again, my Easy Does It. Okay, they really need deadheading. Okay, and that's Gold Medal, the big yellow rose over there, Gold Medal. And then we moved last summer these 3 roses that you see over here there. Now, it's a little hard for me to get over, but now I might get these a little confused because I think this is how it is. There's the creamy apricot rose that you see closest to me is, let's see. Wait just a minute because we moved those. Okay, Autumn Sunset. And then next to Autumn Sunset is, wait just a minute, Sweet Afton. And it's a sort of a whitish rose. And then way over on the other edge is called Everest Double Fragrance. So those are those 3 roses. And my plan was, when we put this in, where the primroses are blooming right now, and that is, it will be blooming that other green stuff pretty soon. I'm not sure what it is, but it's there. But the plan was to take it all out and even let the grass grow into there. But it never got done because I think I'm a live and let live type person, and it just seemed to not want to be disturbed. So that's why it's still there. And this rose here, I could research it out and find out what its name is, but and there's gold medal again. My sweet peas are blooming, and then that is double. Well, I can't really get too well to here, but these were moved the wrong time of the year. I thought maybe I'd lost them, but I hadn't. I'm going to see. There it is, and that's double. Everest double fragrance. Then the one at the end was autumn sunset, and that sort of pinkish white is sweet afton. So those are the names of my roses, and they need deadheading, and we're headed for heat, and there they are. They're not perfect. I wish what I don't know about gardening actually could be fill volumes. I'm sort of a testimony of anybody can garden. If I can do it and raise food and flowers, anybody can do it. So there you have my roses. You've been introduced. And even though I'm not a really good gardener, I do love them. Have a good morning, and we'll see you later. Surviving the 80s.